Even in the Warframe world, a fantastical sci-fi game with all sorts of insane villains, plot twists, and dark stories, there are very few, if any, enemies that would argue are completely evil and only exist to cause pain and suffering to others. Even someone like Ballas, who intended to destroy the entire Origin system, at least had a reason and a purpose to do so. I mean, it was an absolutely stupid reason, since he had already ruled the entire Origin system, but it was still a reason. But what if I told you that there was an entire group of people who only existed to slaughter, torture, and harm others, without any purpose to do so besides for their own twisted enjoyment? Well, there is a group of people with that intention, the Grustrag 3. I'm not even sure you can really even call them people. They're complete monsters. Grineer clones who have an unimaginable amount of mental health issues and brain rot from the cloning issues. Today, we'll be deep diving into the barbaric and violent history of Vim Tabuk, Leekdeer, and Shik Tao. If you're unfamiliar with the Grustrag 3, or with Warframe in general, just imagine them as your favorite K-pop group, except they're extremely violent and also incredibly ugly. So basically nothing like your favorite K-pop group, except the group part. That's pretty much the only similarity. To be completely honest, I'm not really familiar with any K-pop groups. This joke just sounded funnier in my head, and at this point I've really drawn it out, so let's just get into the actual history of the three and how the group first formed and why it first formed. The Grustrag 3 were formerly just 3 standard Grineer Marines, and just did completely normal Grineer Marine activities. You know, stuff like guard duty, practice their shot on targets, practice their shot on others, practice their shot on Corpus, practice their shot on other Grineer, and so on. However, one day they were being shipped along with fellow Grineer to participate in a battle, but for some reason the ship ride was taking a little bit longer than normal. Maybe there was some space traffic or maybe even some engine issues on the ship, but whatever it was, the ride was taking way too long, which caused the Grustrag 3 to get a little bit antsy. Also, don't laugh at me for saying space traffic. There's airplane traffic, which doesn't seem very possible to me, so that absolutely means that space traffic could be a thing too. So shut up about that, okay? Space traffic's real, be quiet. This eventually caused the 3 to basically say fuck it and start lining up everyone around them. Because as Vim Tabuk said himself in Dr. Tingus's report on him, they grew impatient for the killing. The 3 then went on to completely slaughter everyone aboard the ship. I mean, they really went like hog wild. Imagine being on your ship, you know, kind of nervous, getting ready for battle, and next thing you know, 3 dudes who you thought were on your side just go like full school shooter mode and eliminate you and an entire squadron of people you consider brothers. Yeah, these dudes sort of suck. Anyway, a good and expected question for you to have that I also have the answer to is, how in the world were these 3 dudes, who are at this point just thought to be typical Grineer Marines, able to absolutely decimate an entire ship full of Grineer without receiving any, you know, permanent, like, in-death causing injuries? And well, the answer to that is that they somehow have a mutation that has increased their combat ability. It's not really clear what this mutation is exactly, but we can imagine that it increases their hardiness and strength, so much so that the bullets that likely got rained on them by their allies trying to defend themselves just didn't kill them. Unless they sneaked attacked an entire ship full of Grineer, which I highly doubt they did. Anyway, they were actually stationed under General Sargus Rook, and that of course means that all the soldiers they killed were also Sargus Rook's men. And no, I mean like they worked for Sargus Rook. I don't mean that he has like a huge harem of men that he brings around. I mean, how would that work, by the way, seeing as though they're all clones of one another? Just food for thought. That's a pretty terrible thought to have, though. I don't imagine you would want to eat the food along with that thought after thinking about what I just said. Anyway, the point I was getting at is that they killed soldiers who worked for Sargus Rook. And if you have happened to watch my video on Sargus Rook, which you absolutely should go watch, please like and subscribe. You know that Mr. Rook absolutely hates traitors, and he immediately called for their deaths and even planned on it. However, another Grineer became interested in the 3's combat ability, and unfortunately for Sargus Rook, it was the one and only Grineer that actually outranked him, Counselor Vahek. We all know Counselor Vahek cares about his fellow Grineer a little bit less than most of the other leaders, so he decided to send him to the Grustrag reconditioning facility, because he believed the potential to recondition such powerful soldiers was worth it more than the incredibly high chance that said soldiers just start completely slaughtering their allies again. At the Grustrag reconditioning facility, Leekdeer, Tabuk, and Shik Tao were now in the trustworthy hands of Dr. Tingus. Wait. Let me rephrase that real quick. At the Grustrag reconditioning facility, Leekdeer, Tabuk, and Shik'Tau were now in the hands of Dr. Tingus, the extremely diabolical and untrustworthy hands of Dr. Tingus. Like the most untrustworthy hands, Dr. Tingus literally pushed Vahek into a pit full of ghouls that tore him to shreds and caused him to be a flying robotic head. If you want to know more about that, check out my full video on Dr. Tingus. It's literally the most in-depth video on Dr. Tingus in all of YouTube. I'm being so serious. Anyway, that's now 2 plugs to my videos in one video. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of killing this YouTube shit. You should like and subscribe. Did I just do 2 subscribe plugs as well? I'm actually getting insane at this YouTube stuff. Y'all need to give me credit. I am literally just elite. Okay. We've gotten kind of off track here, so let's get back into the Grustrag 3 now. Dr. Tingus saw a lot of potential in the 3 and was happy that Vahek sent them his way. After completing his initial evaluation of Vim Tabuk, Dr. Tingus sent this message to Vahek. Vim Tabuk, leader of the Grustrag 3, was committed after the group slaughtered all fellow Marines aboard a troop transport. Evidently, the ship took too long to reach battle, and the subject was simply impatient for the killing. Like his accomplices Shik'Tau and Liktir, Tabuk suffers from a rare cloning mutation. This makes him highly effective in combat, but completely unfit for duty. Recommendation: permanent incarceration for study. The subject's combat ability cannot be ignored. If the subject's aggression can be focused, he may yet prove a useful weapon. After a large amount of reconditioning, the 3 Marines became known as the Grustrag 3, and were released by Dr. Tingus to release havoc by the orders of Counselor Vahek. We honestly have no clue what their reconditioning process completely entailed, but what we do know is that it involves something called the Grustrag Bolt. The Grustrag Bolt is an interesting device that was specifically created to dampen the 3's effectiveness at killing Grineer. I'm not really sure how the bolt works specifically, but we do know it causes a 50% damage reduction on everything Grineer if it's attached to your body. And well, of course, Dr. Tingus put these bolts on the Grustrag 3 for obvious reasons. After further reconditioning in the usage of the bolts, Dr. Tingus informed Counselor Vahek that the 3 were ready to be set loose on the galaxy, with their only purpose being to hunt down and slaughter the Tenno. This was his exact message. Most honored Counselor Vahek, the agony treatment has worked. Tests show aggression has been shifted to the Tenno. The Grustrag 3 are now ready for release and are eager for your orders. Please note, fratricide is still an issue. Conditioning did not completely remove violent tendencies towards fellow Grineer. My solution is the Grustrag Bolt. When attached to a subject, this device limits combat effectiveness against all Grineer personnel. The bolt will ensure collateral death is acceptably limited. I have produced a surplus of these devices. Perhaps these will also aid you with your problem. Your loyal servant, Dr. Tingus, Director of the Grustrag Reconditioning Facility. After officially deciding to set the 3 free, Counselor Vahek received another message, except this time from a very angry Sargus Rook, who was mad that soldiers that slaughtered his men essentially went unpunished. Well, I'm sure they got tortured some during the reconditioning. I mean, what could agony treatment possibly mean? But the only punishment Sargus Rook would have been truly happy with was execution. Anyway, this is what Sargus Rook wrote. Vahek, releasing the Grustrag 3? Tell me this rumor is a lie. Tell me you have not forgotten what those defects cost me. Traitors must be eradicated, but you think they can be rehabilitated? Arrogance. If it was up to me, Grustrag and everything in it would be ash. No doctor can cure disloyalty. The responsibility for this mistake is yours alone. Trust me, you will bleed regret. Rook. First off, Sargus Rook is an absolute badass. The quote, you will bleed regret, and the quote, no doctor can cure disloyalty, is just so cool. Like, damn, let me get like Sargus Rook, bro, please. Anyway, enough fangirling. That's pretty much all the history on the Grustrag 3. Obviously, they got their name from the Grustrag Reconditioning Facility, by the way. I didn't outright say that, but they weren't actually referred to as the Grustrag 3 until they were actually released from the institution. Alright, we've covered the history of them pretty well, so now let's get into talking about their actual presence in the game and what quests they're a part of and what they do, which is honestly, you know, a bit less interesting than their history. So let's get into it. For as awesome as the lore on the Grustrag 3 is, they honestly don't make a ton of appearances in-game, and are honestly, in my opinion, an underutilized group of individuals. I would love for a Warframe update to add a Dr. Tingus assassination mission where we lead an assault on the Grustrag Reconditioning Facility, and then we have to fight through the iconic Grustrag 3 to get him. I mean, doesn't that sound like really awesome? It can even be like a little bit of a horror like kind of quest, based with the facility kind of serving as a messed up asylum, something like Outlast, you know, except in Warframe, with Dr. Tingus portraying the mad scientist that's present in, you know, the Outlast game. Anyway, that's enough fan fiction and hoping beyond hope for something cool to be done with Dr. Tingus. Let's go ahead and get into what the Grustrag 3 have actually done in game. The first function they have is by putting a death mark on you, much like the Stalker does. However, they'll only come after you if you complete 5 invasion missions where you go against the Grineer. I have honestly never in my entire playing career have ever naturally encountered the Grustrag 3. I actually never even knew that they functioned like the Stalker until I made my video on Dr. Tingus. So in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you guys watching aren't familiar with the Grustrag 3 either. Because I mean, I feel like most people probably haven't naturally encountered them. Anyway, there really isn't a ton of lore behind this encounter. Just if they happen to spawn and attack you, you have to defeat them. But if you're unfortunate enough to lose to them, they'll actually put one of their Grustrag bolts on you. And guess what? Those bolts can be pretty damn annoying and cause you to deal 50% less damage to all Grineer enemies. While the resources required to actually remove the bolts aren't that hard to get, they do provide a challenge for newer players. In all honesty, as most enemies in Warframe, they only really provide a challenge or a hurdle to newer players, and doing 50% less damage to Grineer can be a significant setback for sure. The only other situation I really think of them spawning is during the quest A Man a Few Words, and of course when you're doing one of Clem's weekly quests. The Grustrag 3 are actually the ones who managed to defeat Clem and take away his Grakadas while he was attempting to rob the Grineer of their potato. The device potato is like this weird Orkin device, not a literal actual potato. I don't know what the difference is with a real potato, but I mean I'm sure there is a difference between the device and like the actual potato. I mean there's no way Clem was risking his life fighting the Grustrag 3 for a normal potato. I mean I don't think he's Irish. All you Irish people just got roasted. Like and subscribe, Irish people, I love you. Speaking of Irish, I someday want to buy a castle in Ireland, so everyone please like and subscribe. That's the ultimate life goal for me right now, to be completely honest. Anyway, throughout the A Man a Few Words quest, you have to fight through all 3 of the Grustrag 3 in separate missions, and then in Clem's weekly quest, there's a chance that one of the Grustrag 3 show up during it, but only one of them and not all 3 at once. Anyway, we don't really get a ton of information from their actual involvement in the game, so this section honestly didn't add as much as I thought it would. Let me know some of your favorite Grustrag 3 moments in the comments below, so, you know, I get more interactions with my video, has a higher chance of blowing up, and I can get famous and rich. Thank you guys. Anyway, let's move on to the conclusion. I really love searching into some of these less important characters and learning pretty much every morsel of lore they have to offer. I mean, the Grustrag 3 are incredibly cool, not to mention the madman Dr. Tingus. The only bad part about this research is that after you're finished, you're always disappointed that there wasn't more lore hiding from you. I mean, Warframe has so many absolutely awesome characters, but so few have fully fleshed out lore, and it's honestly, like, really disappointing. I heard that soon that issue might be fixed with some fluff lore for certain characters in a new update, which would be really cool, but would also mean that all my videos would now be outdated. Which would suck, but that also means I can just make new updated videos, so basically I now have an infinite content farm. Thank you, Digital Extremes. What the hell did I just say? Anyway, if you want early access to videos, some emojis to use, and the option to join a new clan, you should become a member. If you join, just let me know in the comments and I can give you the clan info. Don't forget though, it is brand new. I'm working on it. I think there's something else my membership offers, but I honestly forgot in this moment. So yeah, that's all I have right now, but there's more, I think, maybe. I don't know. Check the memberships. Also, like I said before, the reason I launched my new membership early, and I didn't want to do it like yet in my YouTube career, is because my car has recently got totaled, leaving me without a car, which has put me in a rough spot. So if you want to support the channel by becoming a member, I'd really appreciate it. But of course, if you've already supported the channel a ton just for watching this far into the video. Like honestly, that just already helps so much. So thank you. Most importantly, before we end this video, I want to give a huge shout out to the 2 members of this channel. Sign Up King 5000, our first ever member. That guy is so cool. He started the trend. He started the wave. Let's go, Sign Up King. I love you, brother. And then Jay, who's our newest member. Jay, you're new on the block. What's up, Jay? What's up? Actually, both of these guys have actually been viewers for a long time. So thank you guys to both of you for becoming members. I really do appreciate it. I mean, it does mean a lot. Thank you so much. Like, I'm being serious. Like, I don't know how to say thank you, but thank you. I know it's $5 a month to you guys, but to me, like, it means a lot. It means I have, like, 2 diehard supporters, and I have, you know, it helps me make money, too, which that's just nice. Anyway, I'm going to stop glazing you guys now. That's all I have to say for this one. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Comment, too, please. I love interacting in comments. As you guys know, I almost respond to every comment. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye and stay blessed, guys. Peace out.